Hi, welcome. My name is Idris Kamoga. As usual, we are here always for a good cause, and that's learning how to do tourism as a business. The year is clocking down. I think next week will be in December, right? And for those that have joined tourism business this year, and probably those that joined last year, for starters, I think the big question you may ask yourself: what has been your value add in terms of product knowledge? In other words, what have you learned? Have you learned something? That's the most important thing. If you learn more, trust me, you'll get more out of the tourism business. Remember, we've already said the customers of tourism, you can say the tourists, the guests, the visitors that are coming to stay at your hotel, your resort, that you're probably taking on a safari, they are beyond average. They are land people. They include teachers, nurses, doctors, engineers, pilots, name it. So focus so much on learning, and it's going to help you grow, right? It will help you grow. Speed doesn't matter, and I have already said so. If you rush, you may crash. So what matters is, are you moving forward? Are you stepping forward? Right? And if you take on that right direction, growth and success will always get closer to you. Right? So as we try to wrap up 2024, it will be very bad for you to close this year and you've learned nothing. Try to teach something yourself. And as usual, we are here to teach you something, right? So we want to dive into our session today. And all we need to learn is how to prepare and how to draw an invoice by yourself. Remember, after communicating to your clients, what are they buying from you? A hotel room, a tour, an excursion, an experience, a ticket. Probably they want to fly from one point to the other, and they are asking for an invoice. So, do you know how to draw an invoice? Because it is after an invoice you get paid, right? So, clients have confirmed, visitors have confirmed, we want to come on a tour with you. Can you go ahead and give us an invoice? And in this video, we want to make it simple and better for you so that you can learn critically on how to draw a very simple invoice for your company or tourism business, right? So we are interested in getting to know the features. What should be some of the features that would probably be on your company invoice in a professional way and in a professional manner? So we want to dive in probably to give you some of these, and we'll take it in sections, right? How to have your invoice well prepared. And our first section to look at would be probably the header. So if you have your invoice and you want to prepare it, I've had so many friends saying, just give me a template, give me something to edit. So now you can sit down, and invoices may come in different forms or templates. You can get a template online and probably custom make it for your tourism business. All right, that's very important. But let's look at the header section of your invoice and what it must have, right? Because you see, we must advocate for professionalism. So your invoice that you're putting out must be professional. You see, you're invoicing as small as $100, as big as 200,000 US dollars. You'll get paid, right? But presentation matters. I think in one of our last videos that we've tried to put before you, we said organization is very important for someone to succeed in doing tourism as a business. So part of our invoice has got the header section. And these are some of the elements that must be on your header section, right? Let's have our company logo, right? So have your invoice, call it on a headed paper, but you must, these are e-invoice, electronic invoices, right? Electronic in the sense they are in soft copies, but you can print it out probably to have it in a hard copy. But before we have it in a hard copy, we must prepare it in a soft copy using our computers. And here we want to draw it probably using or edit it using a Microsoft. And this is how you can probably save it further and share to your client as a PDF document. So your company logo is very important, right? Still in the header section, we have our company name, right? You can put your company name. Your logo is up there. Your company name comes. The address of the company is very key, right? And this can all come in your header section, probably on your letterhead. Um, then the other thing, the contact information for your company must appear on the invoice, and this can include your telephone address, your telephone number, your email, and probably your website. These are very key. You see, I've always told people that for anyone in tourism business, featuring your website as many times across all your brand documents is very important, because when someone gets to your website, he'll get everything about you, your profile, your portfolio, your contacts, email address, all that stuff. So having your website is very key here. You see, so we have the invoice number still in the header section. How you name your invoices matters. You see, invoice number is key. Is it 002, 003, 004? You know, probably it will help you also be able to track invoices that you've been issuing. Invoice date. When are you invoicing? Is it today? If it's today, then probably you have to do 25th of November 2024. So invoice date in the header section is very key. Still in the header section, we might have client information, right? Full names of the client. You're invoicing, say, Anderson Wright, right? That's the name of the client. You can also include client's address. And you can get all these details, if you have them, probably in the email signature of the client. You know, they are there. You can find all that. Contact information for the client, including telephone number and email address. Still in the header section, right? Because we're looking at client is booking a room with you, he's booking an experience, he's booking a tour with you. So these are some of the things that you must include for you to have a very sweet invoice to your client. And lastly, among uh, uh, the section of the header in the client's information, probably you should include the tour reference number if applicable. Hotel, you know, probably rooming, call it the booking confirmation number. It's very important, you know, so that you can include it in the part of the section, in the header section for the client's what? For the client's information. That's very key for you. And then the other section that we may look at as part of a good invoice that we are preparing, we can look at the description, right? The description or the details section. And here we can look at, we describe the service that we are offering. You see, that's very key. You see, for example, you would name the tour or service 4 days this. We could also have a list of items that the client is probably purchasing from you. Airport transfer. You know, sometimes clients would buy services in parts and others would buy an inclusive holiday. So it doesn't matter. Or someone would buy a flight ticket, probably add accommodation or some. So all these should come into your uh, description or detail section. That's very, very important. And other things would be like the tour dates, right? You should be able to add the tour dates, for example, 4 days gorilla trekking from 3rd to 8th. If it's accommodation, probably you'd say for 2 nights, 25 and 26th of November, right? That's very important. So we have the unit cost and the number of, and the total. So you can also think about a number of persons. How many are they? Still in the description. You see, for 2 people, for 5 people, for a group of 20, right? Hiring Safari Land Cruiser. For 10 people, how many Land Cruisers are they? Are they hiring from you? You can also include, the description is so big, depending on how destinations that they are visiting. They are going to visit, say, Bwindi volcanoes in Rwanda, they are going to Masai Mara, whichever the case is, you can include 4 days visiting Masai Mara National Park, onwards and onwards. So that comes into your description. We've talked about the number of passenger, type of service that's being purchased from you. Is it accommodation? Is it an air ticket? Is it a flight? Is it an experience? Are they visiting any attraction? Whichever is applicable, it comes into the description or detail section. You know, cost of each passenger or persons. You see, you can include and highlight it there. Still in the description, this is where we bring in the subtotal, deposit required, grand total, and something like that. Right? So an invoice can also have the other sections, including the payment terms. You know, brief, these are very brief payment terms, you know, including the payment method. Is the client paying by bank transfer? And then you may include your bank details on the invoice. Payment deadlines is very important, right? Or schedule. You see, we've got clients paying upfront or confirming a trip or hotel room, and they are paying, you know, they are coming next year in, say, we've got also clients booking 2 years in advance. And here you're requiring a payment of 20%, which is the payment schedule. And when do you require the other 80%? So you can include that part into in your invoice. It's very important. You can also have some cancellation policies, you know, depending. All these can come brief. You see, show cancellation policies on your invoice. Don't make it too congested, however much these are some of the explanations that we're trying to give you, but all these can come in a brief forms. Then our last section that we can look at in our invoice, the footer. You see, that last part, the extreme bottom of your you know, where you can include your company slogan or tagline. That's very important. You know, it's very important. You can include your social media links. It's very key. Your website URL. We've talked about that in even in our header section where the logo is. You know, that's very, very key. But take note, invoices can come in different templates. So it's good to work on a template that really suits your business, right? Could be you're in reservation and you're a hotel owner, you're into hospitality, you're running a resort, a lodge or something. It can be different from the tour operator, and it can be different from someone doing car rental and car hire. So take note about what tourism business are you running, probably for a suitable invoice. But what we've been looking at are some of the key features that at least shouldn't miss on your invoice as a tourism business owner, so that you can be able to trend or to mark with the market. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure having you, and I hope you've learned something today. It's very key and very important for you to train yourself something. So get down as you watch this video, dive in, draw whatever we've been trying to highlight as a feature of a good invoice for your tourism business. You see, you can probably bring in your comments. If you have any questions on something that you've not been able to understand, well, we'll come and give you clarity. See, that's very key. Otherwise, I want to wish you so well, and we can't wait to see you in our next video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for these and more learning tutorials. Keep following us on our social media handles. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I sign out, and bye-bye.